34 years old, staring at my bank account, $20,000. I know what you're thinking. Dude, you're 34. Most people your age have way more than that. Yeah, I know. Trust me, I know. But here's the thing. Nobody tells you it doesn't matter when you start. It matters that you start. Because the moment I hit $20,000, something broke inside my brain. And I don't mean broke in a bad way. I mean, it rewired. Everything I thought I knew about money wrong. Everything I was afraid of irrelevant. This is the story of how $20,000 changed my life. And if you're sitting there at 24 with 2,000 or 39 with just 5,000, thinking you're behind, you're not. You're right on time. Let me show you why. My name's Barry, and for most of my 20s, I was broke. Not like, oh, I can't afford the new iPhone broke. I mean, do I eat today or put gas in my car broke? I worked a 9-to-5 job that paid just enough to keep me desperate. Just enough to make me think, maybe next month. Just enough to trap me. Every morning, same routine, wake up, grab my $5 coffee. Because somehow that felt like the one luxury I deserved, and drag myself to a job I hated. Credit card debt check. Student loans, check. That sinking feeling every time I checked my bank account, double check. I'd see people online talking about investing, about passive income, about financial freedom. And I'd think, that's not for people like me. That's for people who started earlier. For people with rich parents. For people who got lucky. But then, something happened. I got tired. Tired of being scared. Tired of saying no to everything. Tired of feeling like I was on a treadmill going nowhere. So I made a decision. A stupid, naive, probably won't work decision. I was going to save $20,000. I didn't know why $20,000. It just felt like a number that meant something. Like, if I could get there then, things would be different. It took me 19 months. 19 months of eating ramen, of saying no to friends, of driving a car that made scary noises, of skipping every fun expense. And when I finally hit it, when that balance read $20,000, I sat there staring at my phone, expecting to feel rich, accomplished, free. Instead, I felt calm. For the first time in my adult life, I wasn't panicking. The check engine light on my car came on that same week, and instead of having a meltdown, I just shrugged, fixed it, moved on. That's when I realized $20,000 didn't make me rich. It made me UN breakable. Here's what nobody tells you about money. It's not actually about the money. Let me explain. When you're broke, like really broke, your brain is in survival mode 24/7. It's called scarcity mindset. And it's not just a feeling. It's biology. When you have $0 in your account, your brain is screaming danger, threat, find food, find shelter. You can't think long term. You can't plan. You literally can't. Because your brain is too busy trying to keep you alive today. Every decision is an emergency. Every unexpected expense is a catastrophe. But here's where it gets wild. The moment I crossed $20,000, my brain exhaled. Suddenly, I wasn't making panicked decisions anymore. I wasn't buying garbage on impulse, trying to feel better. I wasn't doom scrolling through my banking app at 3 a.m. I started thinking in years instead of days. I stopped asking, can I afford this coffee? And started asking, is this coffee worth it? Subtle difference, massive impact. Because when you have a cushion, when you have screw you money, you stop operating from fear. You start operating from power. That $20,000 sitting in my account. It wasn't just money. It was permission. Permission to say no. Permission to take risks. Permission to think clearly. And the craziest part, once I hit 20,000, saving got easier. Way easier. Because I wasn't saving from desperation anymore. I was saving from abundance. The first 10,000 took me a year, the second 10,000 6 months. Momentum is real. Okay, real talk time. The number one mistake people make after hitting their first big milestone. They celebrate by blowing it. And I'm not judging. I almost did it too. Let me read you some real comments from people who learned this lesson the hard way. Blew 37,000 on a new car. A year later, it's worth 26,000. Worst decision of my life. Hit 20K, worked hard for 5 months, blew it all in 3 weeks. Now I'm starting over. Every time I hit 20,000, I buy another toy. I'm 35 and still broke. You know what these people thought. They thought $20,000 meant they were rich. They weren't rich. They just had $20,000. Here's the truth. $20,000 is not a prize. It's a weapon. It's not money you spend. It's money that buys you options. That cushion is what lets you walk away from bad jobs, negotiate better salaries, sleep at night, think clearly. The moment you blow it on a car, a vacation, a gadget you don't need, you're back to square one, back in survival mode, back to being desperate. Don't be that person. $20,000 is your shield. Protect it like your life depends on it. Because honestly, it kinda does. You want to know the best feeling in the world. It's being able to say no thank you and mean it. Before I had $20,000, I was a yes man. Boss asked me to work weekends. Yes, clients disrespected me. I smiled and took it. Terrible job offer. When do I start? I had no choice. Zero leverage. But the moment I had that cushion, everything changed. A recruiter called me with a job offer, $60,000 a year. A year ago, I would have jumped at it. But this time I said, I appreciate the offer, but I need time to think about it. 5 words. But they only worked because I had $20,000 in the bank. Without that, I'm saying yes before they finish the sentence. That's the thing about financial security. It gives you time. Time to think, time to negotiate, time to walk away from bad situations. One guy said it perfectly. I literally walked away from a $100,000 a year job without worry. That's not reckless. That's power. When you've got $20,000 saved, the check engine light isn't a crisis. It's an inconvenience. Your boss can't bully you. Your landlord can't push you around. You're not trapped anymore. And here's the beautiful irony. The moment you don't need the job is the moment you become better at your job. Because you're not operating from fear. You're operating from confidence. $20,000 doesn't just buy you stuff. It buys you dignity. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, cost of living. Some of you are reading comments like, I'm 29, saved $100,000 living with my parents, and thinking, well, yeah, no kidding. And you're not wrong. If you can live with your parents rent-free, do it. No shame. Zero shame. That's not failure. That's strategy. Because here's the brutal math. If you're paying $1,500 a month in rent, that's $18,000 a year that just vanishes. $18,000. That's almost the entire $20,000 goal. Gone. Just to have a roof over your head. So yeah, getting to $20,000 when you're paying rent. It's like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in the bottom. It's not impossible. It's just harder. But here's what I need you to hear. Harder doesn't mean you're behind. If you're living alone, paying rent, and you're at $5,000 saved, you're doing amazing. You're not failing. You're just carrying a heavier boulder up the hill. Both people reach the top. One just has to push harder. And if you can't live with parents, if that's not an option, then adjust your timeline. Instead of 19 months, maybe it takes you 3 years. That's fine. The key is keep pushing the boulder. Don't stop. Don't give up. Don't compare your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 10. Your mountain is yours. Climb it at your pace. So you hit 20,000. Now what? Here's the good news. It gets faster. Way faster. One person said, finally hit 100,000, and it came quick after 20. Another, after the first 50,000, all the stress just left. Because here's the secret. Nobody tells you 20,000 is just the launch pad. Once you cross that threshold, once your brain shifts from scarcity to abundance, the next milestones come easier. 40,000, 60,000, 100,000. Each one comes faster than the last because you've built the habit. You've built the discipline. You've built the mindset. 20,000 isn't the destination. It's the beginning. It's the moment your financial rocket finally has enough fuel to break free from gravity. And once you're off the ground, you're flying. But I'm going to be honest with you about something. There's a darker side to this. Some people hit 20,000 and feel relief. Others hit 100,000 and still feel broke. One guy, I'm 42, own $1 million house, have 400,000 saved, and I still panic daily. And that's the truth nobody wants to admit. More money doesn't automatically fix your anxiety. It just changes what you're anxious about. At $0, you worry about food. At 20,000, you worry about losing it. At $1 million, you worry about keeping it. The number goes up. The fear doesn't go away. So here's my advice. Yes, save that 20,000. Yes, build that cushion. But also work on your mind. Because financial security is the floor, not the ceiling. It's not about becoming rich. It's about becoming unbreakable. So wherever you are right now, $2,000, $10,000, $50,000, keep going. You're not behind. You're exactly where you need to be. I'm Barry, and this is my portfolio. Oh, my portfolio.